tardiness.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the Town of Lakeview Council's regular session for August 9th open at 4:02 and stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. No public hearing, so we will have public comment.
Is that me?
Yes,
Oh.
that's you and anyone else that wishes to speak after you.
Okay. I'm coming before town
Please
council.
give your name for the.
My name is Jacqueline Clark.
Thank you.
I'm coming before town council to try to, well, I'm not sure. I want to try to form a partnership, and I want to be part of assisting law enforcement. And my concerns are the illegal drugs use, sales in Lake County, and the ramifications of it, which is high theft rate and everything else that's going on here. And I want to get something started to try to unite community partners so we can stand together as far as like a committee. Also in Klamath, somebody told me, and I think it was Cliff Hargis, said that there is a web page in Klamath that posts, you know, who's wanted, who's got warrants out, those kind of information, so the public can make calls and say, hey, you know, so-and-so that's, you know, on the, is right here in the neighborhood, or right next door, or, I don't know. I really don't know what I want, but I want to get something going to, you know, because I don't know what we can do. And I know that I've talked to Mike Taylor, I've talked to Travis, which doesn't talk to me much because I'm his mom, and there you go. And anyway, and I talked with other people, and I just think things need to get going because things are going downhill, and people are. I've got a neighbor that sells drugs on a regular basis, and I think one thing that all the law enforcement said, people need to keep calling it in to law enforcement. And I know people get frustrated, oh, they'll never show up, or they say that about everything. And then I've had people look at the logs and they never even called in, you know. So I don't know how to get something going, something started. I'm asking for your help and support. And whoever else wants to help. I had posted on Lakeview announcements, and I had a whole lot of people interested. Obviously, this isn't a good time for people to come because of work, but I don't know. I'm asking you for your help. What would you suggest?
Basically, what you're asking is something like a neighborhood watch program?
More than that, but yes.
One of the things also is, you say there's a lot of people that wanted to come, to have like a meeting inviting those people, and then getting a group or committee or something started from those people that are really interested, and maybe when you get them, you can have something, hopefully they're from law enforcement, with the three agencies we have here, to give suggestions or ideas also. That might be a way of starting, just find a place to have a meeting and you know, advertise the fact that this is what you want to do.
Well, I've talked to Dan Schaum,
Uh-huh.
and he asked me to talk to Mike Taylor and to arrange for a, what's it called, a closed meeting for concerned citizens.
Mhm.
And he was gonna get a hold of me with a meeting, but I haven't heard back from him.
Well, then volunteer.
Yeah.
The website you spoke of, is it a government-operated website? Is it your-
I'm Sharon Forrester, and I can speak on that as a member of that, former member of that community. that is a publications that put out by the probation office of people that have warrants. And so that is published by them, or was published by a former probation officer that used to do it. I'm not sure who's picked it up now in their office, but that is who at one time was publishing it.
So people who have absconded from
And
probation.
that is exactly who had published it, and Jackie did come to me, we did have lunch about this, and I just want to say my concern that I voiced to Jackie is that if something isn't a coordinated effort, from what I was reading on Facebook, is that you're gonna end up with some kind of vigilante
Yeah, I don't
type
want that.
thing, and that's what I was seeing, and then you're gonna have good people that end up in jail, or somebody's gonna get hurt, because there's a lot of frustration out
Right.
there, and that I'm seeing on Facebook. People are getting very, very frustrated, and I would like to see some kind of organization. I don't mind getting involved in it, but, I mean, as you all know, with me being in a political position that I'm in, I have to tread very lightly, but I'm really concerned with what I see of the frustration, and again, that good people are going to, somehow, good people are gonna be in trouble and getting arrested, but the frustration level is very, very high. And so I'm here today to try to see if there's something we can do as you know, the citizens here, to try to ease people's fear that when they go to bed at night that they feel safe. And again, we're not getting the calls to 911 is what I'm understanding from Travis, and we've got to encourage them to start calling. And I think that's the number one thing that we've got to start with, is calling and asking for help.
That's where it starts.
That's
Another thing you could do is go to outlining communities like Dan, Medford, Klamath. Check with them and see what kind of a program, or if they have something going over there that might give you some kind of a guideline to start off with. You know?
Yeah, because I want this to be a positive
Right.
thing for the group, a
Well,
super positive thing. I
It
don't
can't
want
be
this-
just people sitting around and.
No, I don't want that. no.
Yeah.
Because I could do that all day long. Yeah, and I don't want that, you know, and I think everybody can. It just, yeah, so I guess what I'm asking for is support from you guys.
I'd like to ask a question of our chief. What support would you like to have, or do you think you could get from the community as a whole that would help?
Like I talked about, I actually responded to some of this on Facebook because there was a lot of allegations being made. One of the problems I see is you'll see a lot of posts on Facebook about, oh, we've got someone burglaring the house or doing this or doing that in this neighborhood, and the cops never showed up. Well, then I go back into my office the next day, I look at the call logs, and there's no calls. There's no calls for service. So people are talking about things that are happening on Facebook, but they're not talking to us. And so if we don't know there's a problem, it's hard for us to address that issue.
So if
So the
somebody-
biggest thing we need is, and I posted all the phone numbers again, is that we need calls. I mean, if there's a suspicious person in your neighborhood, call us. If there's, you know, criminal activity going on, call us. If you witness that, you know, there's graffiti, you know, happening, give us a call. Let us know that there's an issue so we can concentrate patrols and do that kind of thing. You know, if the community could get a group together, we'd be happy to meet with them and talk about options and look at what other towns or communities are doing for community watch. And I mean, we've never had a program here that I'm aware of, but you know, I'm not opposed to starting one and seeing what that takes, and you know, talking to other agencies and finding out what they've done to work with their community partners to do the same thing.
Well, and I think a lot of people are hesitant to call because they're fearful. They're fearful if somebody said, well, your so-and-so called. Well, then.
But again, we have the anonymous tip line for that. I've posted a number and it's on our police cars.
I think people really need to be educated about that because it's just, it's.
If you live slightly outside of city limits, slightly.
Could I just ask you before you speak to tell your name for our.
Oh, I'm sorry,
recording?
Christy Brown.
Thank you.
If you're just slightly out of city limits, considered county, and say it's not non-emergency, so you don't wanna call 911, do you call the county then?
You can still call, our dispatch center dispatches for all the agencies,
Okay,
except for the state
so
police.
you just call
but-
dispatch and they send the appropriate,
Some-
okay,
Yep.
that's what I was wondering.
Yep.
24 hour?
Yes, that's a 24 hour,
24
7 day,
hour, okay.
7 day a
Her,
week
I wasn't-
dispatch.
So they call that 2504?
2504,
2504.
I don't have the anonymous tip line with me right now.
But that would give it a record.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a call. They have to
That's all
make
I
it
wondered, 'cause I didn't know if like you were supposed to specifically call Lakeview or specifically call county or. you know what I
No, the
mean?
best thing
So-
to do is call the sheriff's department, or call the dispatch center. That way, if county's tied up or not available, and there's a city officer that is, you know, we try and help
even if
each
you're
other.
just out, barely outside, so they'll still, okay, that's what I was wondering.
We've really been collaborating with the sheriff's department and trying to work together so there's better coverage for the community as a whole.
Okay,
So if our sheriff's officers or deputies are tied up, the city might respond. If the city's tied up, the county's gonna respond.
awesome,
And so we're trying to get away from that jurisdictional boundary that we've been stuck to in the past. I mean, there is obviously, the city has a responsibility to the citizens of the city.
right,
But if we have two officers going that are working and there's a call on U Street, we're gonna respond.
Okay.
And so, and help
That's what I
cover
wanted.
those gaps and work together and take care of that stuff.
okay, thank you.
The only other thing I want to say is that what we're talking about here is like a reactive approach to it as opposed to a proactive approach. And I would like to see something that is a proactive. It didn't get this way overnight. It's been building and building, and it's coming now, it seems to a head. But if we can somehow come up with something that's proactive, I think is what people are wanting as opposed to reactive. And the reactive is calling 911. I mean, that, it solves an immediate problem, but it doesn't look to the future to try to find something that we can look to make for a better community. So-
And Sharon, as far as probation and parole, Sandy, what did I call you, Sharon? Because I'm, yeah, Sandy. Because of probation,
Both answer.
with probation and parole, I mean, you've been there, is it an ordeal like as far as getting things posted, getting the page started? Do you think they'd be willing?
Well, the person to talk to is Jake,
Jake?
because he's the supervisor there. I mean, they are, the only thing I've seen is they run a little wanted picture in the paper once a week of someone who's responded, but, you know, I think I think he'd be open to a lot of suggestion, he's, yeah.
Okay, so I get hold of him.
Yeah, because I'm sure, I don't know how many warrants are out there right now, but I'm sure there's quite a few, is there?
Oftentimes that may create hysteria as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers.
Chief, in regards to the Facebook and internet reports that are posted out there, is there any way to follow up on those? Because you know, on the internet, you can be 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and so I just am wondering if a little over sensationalism might be taking place in some of those stories that are back and forth.
And we have followed up and then usually found out that there was not
No
an issue
consistency to
or,
it.
you know, whatever the case is, we have followed up on some of them for sure.
Okay.
And it's just hard to trace them. I mean, usually it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and if someone will come up and say, oh, did you hear about all the stuff they're talking about on Facebook where all these burglaries happened last night? It's like, what? Where did this happen? And I go and I look for calls for service, and then I search through on the internet and see everybody talking about all this thing that happened, you know, down on Southeast Street, that someone was in my boat. Oh yeah, I saw him in the neighbor's car, and then, but nobody called. And so it, you know, by then, the follow-ups are a little more difficult because, you know, whoever it was is gone. Where if we'd have got a call at that time, boy, we have, you know, activity happening now. Let's get officers down there that can make contact and, you know, address it. It gets a little
But those
harder.
posts alarm people, of people chanting back and forth of problems that they feel that they've had in their neighborhood when actually they may not be an actual event or anything like you
So
say.
sometimes
But
it's not an actual event
It
or.
makes people scared because they see those posts
Exactly.
in their neighborhood and what have you, so.
And I'm glad people are sharing information when there is an issue, but they need to share it with everybody. You know, I mean, we can't have someone just sit there and monitor Facebook and all the different pages all the time. You know, simple, I mean, even a call to our anonymous attempt line would help us, you know, at least get people down in the area if they're seeing some sort of behavior, but they don't want to be identified.
Better while it's happening, while the crime's happening, 911's the number to call, right?
Yeah.
So if you call the anonymous tip line, does somebody answer that?
No.
So
It goes
it's
to a
a
voicemail.
reporter, and then how long before somebody listens to it?
Generally, as soon as they see the red light blink, there's a message. Usually within, depending on how busy everything is, usually within seconds to minutes.
Okay, that's good to know.
And if they're tied up with other 911s or other
Right.
stuff going on, it might take a little while, but generally, it's pretty instantaneous.
Because I think a lot of people are scared to call, they don't wanna be.
Well, it's a small town.
Yeah, you're right, that's
And
exactly
they don't want
right.
the finger pointed at
That's
them.
exactly right, you know, when I decided to do this, I thought, oh God, you know, I'm kind of putting myself out there, you know, and then I thought, you know what? Everybody can't feel that way, somebody's gotta do something, so. Cameras, I'm buying them.
Well, overall, we'll be ready to work with you any way we can.
Okay.
Real quick, I haven't made any
Okay, okay.
comment on
I'm
this.
sorry.
No, that's okay, I've just kind of been waiting to kind of jot down some of my thoughts about this. And certainly, we live in a society that appears, and I don't want to get on a soapbox too much, but that appears to be headed in the wrong direction quick. And certainly, this is something in the last probably year and a half that I've heard a lot more about, that there's a lot more crime going on. I don't know if the numbers are showing that too much, but first and foremost, this body, supports our police and, the other departments, wholeheartedly, and budgetarily, we look to see how we can put more money into this, issue. Certainly we have to, first, educate people. And it should be common sense that the first thing you do is you call 911 when you see something going on. For whatever reason, people turn to those other media outlets to voice their opinion. I think that's probably one of the worst ways you could try to let other people know about a problem. Just because your friends on Facebook know that there's a problem going on doesn't help the situation. Now they're a third-party witness or third-party information. So it's got to go first to our law enforcement, and then certainly they're working together. We've seen that, but just as you talked to Sheriff Taylor, he says that there is a lack of funding going to his program.
He did say that, and he also said something that was very disturbing to me, was that, these people get popped for meth and they get put in jail and then they get right back out in the street, and it's like, what the hell?
So-
Why bother to arrest them if that's gonna be the case?
Well, part of the problem there, which a lot of people, Sharon can talk about, sentencing guidelines, you can't send someone to prison for possession of meth. Cannot do it.
I just don't get that myself.
And so then what happens is that we fill up our jails with people who are using drugs and then repeat offenders and this kind of stuff, and they are institutionalized, right? They become part of the system of incarceration, and they get used to that. I heard the extreme of even people during the cold months wanting to get put in jail so that they'd have a warm bed to stay in and less expenses, So we've got a serious problem. Are we going to solve it overnight? No. But first, like you said, we get public aware that we're not going to put up with it anymore. But just because we feel that way doesn't relieve ourselves of the duty that we have as neighbors and citizens to make sure that we call things in and go through the right channels. As we do that, then we will certainly have the law enforcement. They're going to be held accountable, and we appreciate what they do. And like Chief says, he's going to those records and seeing if it's called in. If it's not, there's nothing they can do about it, right? But I brought up the point of Sheriff Taylor, and that the Sheriff's Department can only do so much on the south end of town and other areas. We certainly, just as a society, can't expect government to do everything for us.
No, and that's what I'm saying, it's our responsibility as citizens to do what we can to help law enforcement. That's why I'm saying if they post these pictures of the people that are wanted or warranted or whatever it is.
Now and Sharon, you have a good example of what's going on in Klamath. certainly we don't all have to reinvent the wheel. There's other good ways. Ray brought up neighborhood watch. That's obviously an excellent form to use.
I'm blessed to have my neighbor here. My
So-
step-granddaughter hopped over my fence with my dog, and he wrote down her plates and everything he didn't recognize. So now-
And certainly, the main concern I have is when it becomes violent and it becomes, something that's affecting families and not just the individual, but those who may be neighbors or within the same community, and certainly those who, the drug problem is always linked to, it seems like it's linked to a lot of the robberies and break-ins and stuff like that. Now that, we've got to take control of that, and certainly they're going to spend some time and likely go to prison on those kind of issues. But those are the absolute ones that we've got to be aware of. So, I appreciate you guys coming, Christy as well, and Sharon being here. Jackie, thank you so much, and continue to let everyone know that we this is a time we got to step up and do something about it. But involve our law enforcement and help out. But again, you can't expect.
I showed up today because of Jackie's post.
Yeah, no.
And I reached out when I heard your name, I'm going, I know that name.
That's why I came, was because of her post, because I completely agree. And I'm lucky enough to live 14 miles outside of town, but my elderly parents live here on the south end of town. And it's them I'm worried about.
I have one thing to say about it. We live
Would you
at
say
the end,
name?
I'm sorry, Karen Butcher with no teeth.
Thank
We live at the end of I Street, and our house faces the cow pasture. A lot of times it's hard to differentiate between who is, how sometimes they'll scope an area out before they come burglarize. Like my parents leave for church, and next thing I know, I've got a parade of vehicles coming to the end of the road and turning around. I don't know if they're legitimate people who are, just happen to come to the end of the street and turning around, or they're scoping us out. Sometimes I don't know whether I should write down license plate numbers. And then one other thing is I came from an area where I was burglarized not once but twice. The first burglary, they shot up every window and every light fixture in the house with a BB gun. And it was a child because they left their code in the house. And I thought I knew who it was, but they never solved that crime. And the second burglary happened when I was out of town. They broke in. It was almost an $8,000 burglary into the shed, the house. They suspected my neighbors of doing it because they chipped open a safe that me and my husband couldn't even carry into the house. We had to drag it into the house. And they said there's no way that they slept through, because they said that they were home all day but gone at night, or gone during the day but home that night. And they didn't see anything, but they said there was no way they chipped into it and nobody heard anything as far as being around there. And I ended up finding some, I asked the trash man to meet me around the corner with their trash. I just wanted to know if he would. I said, I'll give you $10. He did, and I found stuff, papers for my safe in the trash, and that was when I called the police. Okay, because I was tired of being burglarized. I also had $450 worth of utility theft. I was in the shower one day, heard my faucet being turned on because the water was shut off and they were filling up water. I had it. So anyways, I called the police, and next thing I know, my vehicle's keyed. I couldn't prove it. This happened, I couldn't prove it, and that's why people are afraid to call the police. Because after I got involved in my own burglary and found stuff, they said they were waiting to arrest her until she had the baby because they didn't want to have to pay for the baby. And that went on for months, and finally I talked to a victim's advocate lady who turned it over to the state police, and they made an arrest in a week. 3 people were arrested that were right next door, the same people that I found my stuff in their trash. End of story. I did get some money out of it. But this is the problem that citizens face. We don't want to get involved in, I don't know what that Mexican or guy's name that was in Florida. He ended up shooting somebody and there was a big trial. We don't want that to happen.
No.
But at the same time, we don't want to seem like we're outlandish either, and we don't want the police literally because we think we need to take, steps to protect ourselves.
Well, the cops are spread out too, you don't
Yes,
want
and
to
we're
go
not
goose
blaming
chases
anybody.
either.
We're not blaming anybody.
And we
You
don't
know
want
what,
to,
if it wasn't for you.
if we send
Who knows
everybody
what
on
we'd
goose
be dealing
chases,
with.
then they're not
That's
gonna do
what I would
legitimate
think.
stuff either.
Anyone else? Anyone else care to make a comment at this time?
But that's it.
Mike, anyone else on the council want to
Yes.
add anything?
Just in regards to Jackie's letter to the council, you said that you were scheduling or arranging a special meeting. Could you let us know when that is, or?
I certainly
Just
will.
keep us informed
Yeah,
of what
keep us-
you've got.
Just call and Amy can let us all know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, as soon as I hear from Mike, I certainly will, because I don't want anybody to be kept out of the loop, and I'll contact Jake tomorrow,
Okay.
so. Okay, thank you guys. I
Thank you for
appreciate
your
your
time. Thank you for your
I'm
concern.
sorry, I don't see any.
You want to stay or no? It's up to you. You want to stay? We will move on with our communications, comments, informational items. We, as you, I think Ray had mentioned before he left, we're hoping to get our, we have a pool.
It came.
It came, oh, good.
Sucking up dirt.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that? And as everyone is aware, we have Roundup coming up, so we have a little proclamation, and make sure you go and enjoy yourself there. Department reports, police first. Travis, anything to add to your report?
I think it states in there that Mike will be graduating Friday.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to that. I'll be headed up to Salem on Thursday to attend his graduation. And we're excited to have Mike back and get our team back up to full staff. It's, I think, the first time in approximately 2 years that we'll be full staff. And so we're really excited about that, which will help all that ratio.
Good, good. Okay, thank you. We have 911, Scott Utley is not in attendance tonight, and neither is Dennis Morrow with fire.
He said he didn't have anything to add, he stopped by.
He didn't, okay, well, he did do his report, so. Anderson Engineering is there, inspection. Public Works, Jeff, anything additional?
No, I think it's all there in the report, just, you know, we got hit pretty hard with our geothermal system this month, and we're gonna have some ongoing issues that we're gonna need to address, you know, that are above my pay scale, so we're gonna have to, probably before winter sets in, we're probably gonna have to get with Daryl and see what we need to do to be ready for the problem we've been having with the geothermal well out there is
This is
it's
for
occurring.
the prison one.
Yeah, for the prison well, it's been occurring more frequently and less time in between so I think we need to be able to react a little quicker,
Yeah,
especially, you know, when winter gets here.
yeah,
It
they need
costs them
that.
like $1,000 a day when we're down, so,
Thanks.
you know, that's a pretty hard hit for them, so. But I talked to Daryl today about that issue and he's gonna do some research on that, so when we know more, we'll let you guys know.
Okay, very good, thank you. And we have no town manager this moment, so. She is doing quite well, has a doctor's appointment on Friday, and hopefully we'll get clearance to come to work at least for a few days. We have the consent calendar. There's several items under that.
Mayor, I had a couple of things on the consent calendar for July 26th that maybe we could correct if we could. One of them under new business,
So on the regular sessions?
regular session of July 26th, yes, ma'am. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I heard Ray Sims say that in the third paragraph, Mr. Sims explained that the special cost funds in the budget to help support the swimming pool could be transferred. And I think that sounds like we're transferring swimming pool funds. It's a special project fund that we have to be spent on various projects that we so deem need the monies. And he was just explaining that in the past, we had used those special project funds for the swimming pool. I just didn't want it to be,
Okay, and maybe change the word a little bit on that. And also on page 1, down at the bottom under Mayor, Council Manager updates, it says, met with Ray Turner, actually it should be Ray Sims.
yeah, yeah.
Too many Rays.
Didn't know we had a meeting.
And one other thing, in my report, I reported that I am the liaison for the long-term enterprise zone. It wasn't actually a long-term enterprise zone meeting, it just is all reliant on, I was just making comment that it relied on the urban growth boundary hearings that were being held over at the county courthouse, so I'm sorry that I was not sure what to sign.
Okay. Any other corrections or comments?
With those corrections, I would move that we approve the consent calendar as presented and with corrections.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar with the corrections. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Mayor Council updates. I did have a Lake County Public Safety meeting last week, and it was kind of interesting. We had an update from the head of parole and probation that their drug program is coming along and doing fairly well. They've had some dropouts, of course, for people, people are having success also in that.
Is this the treatment court?
Treatment court, yes. The drug treatment court. But the people in it are in there because if they don't live with it, they are off to the state penitentiary, yes. And the interesting thing of statistics was that during the last quarter, they had saved by doing the drug program with the people that are coming there rather than having to go to prison, 500 months of prison time, which costs $100 a day for each prisoner. Quite a
Pretty good savings.
yeah, so it's good programming, that I'm sure when our mental health gets back up and running with the hospital, they'll be able to do some more with that, so. And then other than that, I've just been, kind of in and out here, doing little projects that are needed.
She's been bossing us around a lot.
Good.
My one and only chance.
That's right.
Sharon?
I'm continuing to work at the chamber, filling that gap a little and trying to get some things organized. TDO, which is our shorthand for the bike race, the Tour de Outback, is this weekend. It's really been well handled, and I think Marie Tucker and Chris Bailey, can't remember Chris's last name, but who has been very instrumental in getting the whole statewide biking trail thing for us. And they're both just really working hard on this, and it'd be nice if people could at least go wave at the bikers or something. We met today with Carolyn Hill, who is in charge of the Southern Oregon Travel Office, who works real close with our area. She's our regional director, and helped us in updating their website so that we can get Lakeview, Lake County events on their website, which is not happening currently. I did get a report from the pool. The new vacuum cleaner is working wonderfully. It even goes up the sides of the pool. It just travels all over, and it's very quick, and so it's really keeping it cleaner. Have you noticed that maybe it's a little better with the
Yeah, it's a lot
clean?
better.
Yeah, I think they're having a lot of fun up there watching it scurry around.
I have nothing to report, that's what I was gonna ask him, but that pool, vacuum, if we've gotten in, if it's working, so.
Yep, it's there and it's purring along.
Darwin?
Red Rock, 2 weeks ago roughly, was wasn't a voting member, but there as planning staff for the county, and that findings are, being prepared, and there'll be a decision made soon on the urban growth boundary, which should certainly help the community, bring some more jobs to the community, which is important. I believe that those findings were hoped to be adopted on Thursday, but it may take a little bit longer to have them finalized, so I'm not sure if anyone else has comments on that.
I'll make one at one.
Okay, great.
point.
So, other than that, I don't have anything else.
Mike Warren?
I would just make mention that the community is in for a big event this Saturday night. The Alger Theater is the site of Briefcase Full of Blues. It's a tribute to the Blues Brothers. It's actually a high dollar show for Lakeview, Oregon. The Lake Arts Council, which I'm vice president of, and the Lakeview Community Partnership have joined together for the concert, and tickets are very reasonably priced at $20. It's a show band that plays different types of venues in Nevada and Las Vegas, Reno, and Tahoe, but it is action-packed and will include a full stage presentation by, I think there are 12 members of the group, so it's going to be really a neat show and something for Lakeview to behold, and so I would invite everyone out to enjoy the show. The tickets are available at the door and then around our community as well, or you can call Bill Schrader, or I've got tickets as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, I do have an update on that. And I should have sent you an email on this, but I neglected to do so. But next Tuesday, we will be having a special meeting to consider the Red Rock ordinance. I did talk to John Vargas, our attorney, and he couldn't quite get it ready for today's meeting. And so we are going to schedule that for next week at 4 o'clock. And also, I'm thinking ahead, if we have no business, we may at that time cancel the next regular scheduled meeting for August. Just a heads up.
Heads up.
Are we wanting that to be a joint meeting with the board of commissioners, is that?
No, I think it's just our
Approval of our
portion of it?
Right, yeah, and then the county can move ahead following that.
Speaking of the county, I am absolutely thrilled that the county has gotten control of the Schmink Museum, and that we're going to keep it locally and maybe run it a little more professionally than it has been, and that we'll get some real benefit for our community from that. I also want all of you to think about being volunteers, because they're going to need to be working with the volunteer staff, I should think, at least to some point. And that would be neat to get involved in.
It's a neat, if you haven't ever been there, it's really a neat little house to go in and see how what they have in there.
Really
They've saved over the
amazing
years.
stuff that
It's
people
very,
have collected over the years.
very interesting. Okay. We have no business. Under new business, we have a request from KORB to use the facilities at Lakeview Little League Fields. Marcy?
Yes. We want to have a 5K color run walk. The maps in there showing. And so that was one of the places we thought would be perfect for a bathroom. So, and since there was already a bathroom there.
Well, we kind of discussed this a little bit, and we leased the Little League field to Little League, and so they actually control the rest.
They have the keys.
They have the keys, and I think they are the ones who probably would have to give you the permission to be using it. They pay for the rental of it.
Okay.
Okay?
Good, that's easy enough.
Okay. Do you know who Mike
Yeah,
Patterson?
I do. I'm waiting till tomorrow. Well, when he gets home, give him a day or two, but yeah.
Okay. And Mike, did you have something you wanted?
No, I just didn't know it, but you had told me that it was a Little League.
Well, I thought you were meant to
Lease
talk
and-
about the chalk.
Oh, no, I was talking about the Little League.
I want to know about that.
Okay.
You want?
I want to know what.
Go ahead.
Chalk.
It's just that color run, other places besides here have done it, it's safe. The only thing is watch your eyes, and we're gonna give out sunglasses just to not like this, but cheaper
So
than
it's like
West.
little
You're not gonna be
things
coloring
you're
up
gonna
the
throw
streets
stuff
or
at
anything,
them.
though?
It does land on the streets, but it does wash right away. They
You're gonna
just-
you're gonna wash them off, because we're not gonna have rains for a while, probably.
Yeah,
That's what
I have no
concerns me.
problem with that, taking a bucket around and washing it
Okay.
up, so, yeah, I mean, it wears away, it's, so like the poker run, the same chalk that they used just recently to mark the streets, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah,
just being
it's
thrown
like-
instead of marking. Huh?
It didn't last very long.
No, it doesn't stay very long at all.
No,
It's
it doesn't.
environmentally safe. Alters, the reason that I even came up with this is the girls at Umpqua Bank all went to one in Alturas, which is the closest one that's even happened to Lake County, and they had a great time and they
Sounds
wanted to
like
get
fun.
involved, and yeah, it washes out your clothes, I mean, it's, yeah.
We'll pray for rain.
Right.
After the event.
It'll wear off quick anyways, the
It
wind's
just
still
wears
gonna
off with
happen,
foot
and,
traffic.
exactly, yeah, it wears off quickly, so.
Did you have something else you wanted to?
No, the only thing I had mentioned to you, Mayor, is in regards to it, when you told me that the Little League has the lease, reminded me of that, and I didn't know if they could sublet the facilities under the contract that they have. That's all I was concerned about.
You know, I don't know, the
They
answer to
maybe
that
should
for
check
sure.
that before.
So,
They would have,
They know
I'm
that
sure we
they're-
have a copy of the lease, but.
Yeah.
so, which I have no problem going to the Little League, and if that doesn't work, then I just have to have property owner to put a porta potty somewhere else.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, either which way it works, so,
You'll be able to do it one way or
yes,
the other.
yes.
Okay.
You're not asking for any street closures or anything?
No, but I've already talked
No,
to.
we've already discussed logistics. I don't think that we're gonna talk, especially with the locations, they're gonna go down G Street to Third and then up S and then up Second. And I don't think we're gonna talk about enough people that it's gonna have an impact on the road. I think that, you know, just some general awareness will be fine as far as that goes. They'll just have to follow regular traffic safety rules, use sidewalks where available, and that kind of stuff, so.
And you said you're gonna mark things with the balloons
And chalk.
and chalk.
Or flour, I mean, it's the same, it's really the same mixture that, you can make the color chalk out of flour by adding food color, so, yeah,
That's good for them.
so,
Sounds interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
Nice job.
thank you.
Any additional, don't think we need a motion since we're really not doing anything.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. Secondly, we have a request from Josh Gable in regards to community event with the use of the swimming pool and street closure on August 21st. Josh?
Yes, August 21st, I'm wanting to put on a community event with the help of Lakeview Community Partnership. Up at the park by the swimming pool. It's a free community event. Mr. Brindle's going to help out with the barbecue, provide some hot dogs.
Who was going to help with the barbecue? Oh, okay.
Chief Brindle. It's just an opportunity for the community to come together, free of charge. I have some extra money left over from Marcy and from Les Schwab from a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. I have some money from the district attorney coming from the drug fund to help purchase the food. So I'm asking that the street be closed down between D Street, or D and Center Street. That's right there by the tennis courts.
No, wait.
Center
You want
and
D Street closed
Center and
between
First, yes.
Center and First.
Center and First.
Okay.
Right.
For 4 hours, between the hours of
I can't allow one.
Yeah.
between the hours of 4 and 8.
It'd probably be about the same standard closure we do for the swimming events.
So right out in front of the existing tennis courts there?
Yes.
Where
So
you-
it'd just be more or less the one kind of one
Yes,
street.
that little area there. So we could put up 2 basketball hoops to let the kids play basketball.
And that worked okay for that 3-on-3, was that the same place you used?
That was perfect. Great location. Second request is, I'd like to use the swimming pool for 3 hours at a reduced rate. Due to the fact that it's a community event, I'm asking for a discount. This is an event that, for example, Ms. Clark, is that correct, Ms. Clark? Ms. Clark can set up a booth informing people of a neighborhood watch or a suggestion box. We're going to have other booths set up, the mentor program, we'd like to set up and see if they can get some people signed up to be mentors. And Lily's Love is a new nonprofit in the community that offers assistance for low-income families to provide birthdays for children.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a great one. Big over in the valley, just starting off here, so just to get the information out would be great. But I cannot do that at the, I can't rent the swimming pool at the cost, the normal cost. And again, it's open to the public for free of charge. I was suggesting that I pay for the lifeguard, cost of the lifeguard, the city donate the facility from 5 to 8.
Amy, is this something we've done before as far as special reductions? I don't recall ever doing it with the pool.
No, I think this is the first time this has ever been done.
So is there a,
Well, so it's not a money-making project, is what
There's
you're
no
doing.
money
You're
involved.
spending money,
I'm spending.
no
money.
charges for anything that,
No charges.
so do we have a rate to like reserve the pool or rent the
Yes,
pool?
we
Yes,
do.
it's pretty well structured,
So as long
and
as-
so it would be setting the precedence for others too.
Yeah, so as long as, you know, the existing funds that you already have could cover that, then I think we'd be totally fine.
Wait.
Reserving the pool for those 2 hours.
We have a
There are
special
two
set.
costs,
and-
there are two costs. One, we cannot let him have the pool without certified lifeguards.
Exactly.
And you have to have lifeguards in a proportion to how many people you have. So if you have 25 people, that's maybe 1 lifeguard. I don't know what the thing is, but somewhere in there for 1. If you have 50 people, you have to have 2. If you have 120, you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you have no idea how many lifeguards
Can
you're
we-
going to be putting on.
Can we pay for 5 lifeguards for 3 hours?
The other, we'd have to figure out how much that would cost, but the other possibility is instead of wanting the pool open 3 hours, is that what you were saying?
Correct.
Is to say 2 hours, which would certainly be a reduced
Okay.
cost.
6 to 8.
Yeah, 6 to 8, say, people have hot dog, do they still have to wait an hour?
There is a difference in price between 3
It's
and
per
2
hour.
hours? Okay, so it's per hour, so
It's,
that would.
it's rented per hour, and my understanding is it's $175 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, our rates are pretty well structured and have been for a good number of years, and I would hate to see us sway from those just because it would set precedence for numerous requests. and we
Right,
would
yeah,
have to,
that's a problem.
oblige a lot of people in that regard.
I would argue that this is a community event.
We have a
Earlier,
lot
we've
of
heard, there's some issues in town. This brings the community together, gives them an opportunity to provide some suggestions to make it a better community. I don't think it's hurting the city by reducing the price. Again, it's a free community event. No one's making any money. We're taking the opportunity with some different booths to inform people of good things taking place here in the community.
But you were all right a moment ago with doing it for 2 hours and paying that rate structure.
Not
So
$175.
I would approve
no,
that, I would approve that, and the rate structure as for a
That would
2-hour
be-
period.
That would be
And then,
a total of $350 for 2 hours.
I would approve that, or I would make a motion that we approve that, and then also consent to close the street as long as Chief Grindle is.
Well, I think for what he's doing up there, I think we should reduce the rate a little bit, because he's not making any money off of it. All he's doing is spending money, and he's spending it all on the community. We don't charge anything to close off the streets for anything else that we do around
We're
town.
not charging him for closing the streets off. We
No.
have set structure of our swimming pool rates, and that is for a reason. We have lifeguards, We have the pool
But he's offered to pay for the
clarification that we
lifeguard.
go, and if you've got people in
Well,
the.
the cost of the lifeguards, I mean, we don't know how much that would be. I don't
It
know.
would be more than,
Yeah,
It would
if you-
probably be more than
Mhm.
$350.
Yeah, it would.
I mean,
It-
five
it-
much
lifeguards.
higher, I'm
Excuse, okay, one at a time.
Mhm.
Okay,
I have a
Travis?
question. We're talking about rates and stuff. I know that the town has sponsored Public Swim. Would there be any difference calling this a free swim day or public swim day instead of him asking for a reduced rate? Could he petition for a day to be just considered a free swim day or a block
Perhaps he
of
could do it
time?
at the first of the year when we do have our swim free.
The only
That's an annual
free
affair.
swim time we've had is when we have our little annual thing when we celebrated the opening of the pool.
Yeah.
And then it's open for what, 2 hours, I think?
Mhm.
Is the only
Right.
time that we have ever done that. And just for those 2 times.
I just like clarification on the rent at $175 an hour. Does that not include the cost of any and all lifeguards?
That
Yes,
is-
it does.
that
That is
doesn't.
inclusive of it.
So,
it's-
so when you say, Josh, that you'll be able to cover the lifeguards, that's included in this $175 per hour. If you have the funds, great. If not, we can help raise the funds pretty quickly. I think, this is a minimum cost. I think,
Mhm. Right,
I think we're all on the same page in that we want the community event to happen.
sure.
Budget wise, I mean, it's.
Budget-wise, the pool never pays for itself and never has. So it's always something we have to take money out of other funds to, pay for all of the costs of the pool every year.
Yeah. Now, I think there's lots of willing volunteers to help pay for this. I mean,
I'll pay for it,
Thank you, Sharon. I mean,
I'll pay for it.
it's just
It's
one
over.
good example right
Done.
there. So, yeah, appreciate it.
Where do I-
You know,
But as-
I didn't know lifeguards were included in it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Well, no, that is, yeah, the lifeguards are included.
and see, and you're probably gonna do minimum of 3, so you're talking.
We could, yeah, we may have to be, I mean, if it's gonna be a free swim, we're gonna have lots of kids up there. And that means that they have to be on.
I think we need that, with the problems we have, I think we need that.
Well,
So-
Clark was talking about events and doing positive, maybe this is more in your proactive concept on the drugs thing, and I think if you work with whatever who do we have at mental health that's dealing with substance abuse? Anyone, and I know they're hiring a new person for mental health.
Susie,
Carl, she may have, brochures and some things that they could put out, or maybe there's some things that we could do with that there too, to make it the drug-free swimming basketball event or something. Basketball barbecue.
Appreciate it, Josh. I would also suggest, try to get it in the lowdown in the paper, at whatever small cost that might be for the lowdown, for sure. But I think,
Radio stations as well.
yes, well, it's in the makings. At this point, Rob Nichols is going, we're supposed to speak today about the insurance cost. It was gonna be $250 to $500. I think the problem is there's not many community events around here because insurance costs, swimming pool costs. I come from the valley where they have all kinds of things going on all the time. Community's well engaged. Here I'm not seeing that, so that's why I wanted to start this. If it doesn't work out with LCP, then we're going to go with Lydia's Love through their nonprofit and their insurance. Because it's about giving back to the community. All summer long, they give and give and give, and then there's an opportunity to give back. But it's becoming, I'm starting to understand why not many events take place. You gotta jump over a lot of hurdles and.
Always the liability issues.
It is frightful.
appreciate it, though. I'm willing to volunteer any chance I get on that kind of stuff, so. I think we've already had a
Appreciate your
motion.
effort, and I would make the motion that we
Yeah.
approve his request for the street closure, and then he can rent however long I guess he needs to rent the pool.
Second.
Right?
Come on all day, Sharon.
Why don't we just make it 8 hours?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize the street closure and rental of the pool for Mr. Gabriel's event. Is there a second?
Yes, I see.
Oh, you did second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
So Darwin, yes, we're gonna get it in the newspaper, Marcy's having it in the paper. It's gonna be
Radio.
Sharon, thank you, it's gonna be on
Radio.
radio.
There's a lot
I
of-
would think you
Yes.
need to do some flyers around.
Oh, we got some
because
flyers coming.
More people see a flyer going into Safeway than read the paper. It's my
Yes, it's
opinion.
going to be well advertised, there's a big interest already just off of the Lakeview announcements.
Make sure you get with Mike too, his radio station. So we can get everybody.
And that's free of charge?
Is it free of charge on all the other media? Are you getting it free in the newspaper? Are you getting it free
It's
for Marcy?
free for KORB and I donated money for the cause,
Yes,
So-
and we're getting it free in the community event.
so.
I don't know what,
It's free in the paper if it's a story, it's not free in the
Right.
paper if you have to put an ad.
Exactly.
no, it's not an ad, it's a story of someone doing something.
I'm doing ads
Someone
and
doing
I'm
something in
doing
Lake County.
I'm doing both for him for free for the whole community, so.
There's lots of social media outlets too. We can
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot more.
Sounds like
The road
Facebook,
closure was
yeah.
great, thank you very much for
We should be able to
supporting
go
the
talk to
community.
Tilly and see if we can get it as a story.
Yeah, it's coming.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to adjourn our meeting now at 4:58 for an executive session under ORS 192-660 to be discipline matters. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, guys.